Tawa na kayo
Morning.
kagad. Good evening, everybody. For this episode, we would like to recognize all those siblings watching with us tonight on live and on replay. This is a special episode in celebration of International Siblings Day. You are now tuning in to BCBP Mission Go Live Episode 5. I'm your host, Casey Frayco. All right. Good evening again. So, just a quick trivia, no? This episode actually is in line with the Siblings Day that was introduced by Claudia Everett of the United States as an ode to her brother and sister. She lost both her brother Alan and sister Lisette at an early age. The date of April 10 was chosen as it marked the birth anniversary of Lisette. The primary purpose of the day is to acknowledge and celebrate the bond between siblings and honor it. So, hulaan nyo na lang, sino bang magkapatid 100% by blood tonight? Okay? You can
Game ba yan?
already...
Game?
Game. You can already, if you're watching us now, you can already comment on Facebook and YouTube. And while you're putting it down there, we'd like to welcome everybody watching. And, this online this Go Live online series is one way we continue to live out our BCBP mission for bringing Christ to the marketplace and winning the marketplace for Christ. And for season 1, we're here to talk about the Be Honest advocacy. Be honest, even if others are not, even if others will not, and even if others cannot. So let's see nga. Do we have comments who posted? Sinong bang magkapatid na 100%?
Yeah, I saw a comment, Casey, from
Parang kulang daw yata tayo, guys.
why Dennis isn't here.
Yeah. So, anyway, we're all members of BCBP Alabang chapter. And before we begin our discussion, we'd like to introduce ourselves. Let me start. Again, I'm Casey Frayco, and I am currently a project strategist for Fire Springs Consulting. And I'm also a full-time homemaker. I have my husband is also a member of BCBP Alabang, and we have 2 kids, Layla and Jaden. Hi guys, I know you're watching mommy. I got to BCBP around CLP 43, so that was in 2013. There you go. Kuya.
All right. Sige.
Sino? Kuya
wrong,
ba?
Wrong finger. Mali. Anyway, yun. Tama. So anyway, yeah, that's it. That's the one. So anyway, I'm JR Hernandez. I'm married to Marian, and we have 2 kids, Bobby and Rory. And I'd like to say hi to them. They're tuned in right now. Hi. Yeah. By profession, I'm actually a parenting and relationship consultant, and I'm also a life and wealth coach. No, so that's what I do. I joined BCBP after Casey. I'm CLP. I belong to CLP 44, and so I joined 2014. Yep. So next one should be Rob.
Why don't we start off with my sister Trisha on that side?
Hi. Okay. Good evening, guys. I'm Trisha. I'm an entrepreneur and a full-time mom. We joined BCBP when I was a teenager. We joined the youth group, and also as an adult, I joined CLP 46 with my husband Christian, and we have one and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ellie.
Cool, that's my cue, right? So I'm I won't tell you who's older or younger. That's up for you to decide. I'm Trisha's brother, and I have 2 other sisters, Christina and Cheska. I'm married to my lovely wife, Tan, and I have 3 kids, 13 to 23. I am a servant leader in ANZ. It's an Australia-New Zealand bank. I've worked there for 3 years, but for the most part, I've been a corporate person outside of a couple of years in entrepreneurship. where I'm hoping my partner is watching. Reg, if you're there, he's my partner in a bike distribution company. So welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us this evening.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. Also, I forgot to mention that, Kuya, we have other siblings and they might be
Oh
watching
yeah.
us here tonight. Hi to our siblings, Ate VP, Kuya GM, and Ij. Hi, guys. So, yeah, we're five siblings. And, well, obviously, I called him Kuya. So, he's my Kuya and I'm the youngest of five. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Now, so to get to know each other better, I guess for the people watching us, in a way, we'll do this show a little bit different. Since it's also, parang a celebration of siblings. Um, so that they also know how our relationship is as siblings. Maybe we can start with some question and answer. Okay,
All
so
right.
I think our first question is ready. What are you most proud of about your sibling? Wow,
Mm.
grabe. Bigat naman agad ah. What am I most proud of?
Wow.
Okay to ah.
Okay.
Ako na. I'll go ahead. I'll go
Okay,
ahead.
okay,
I'll
okay.
be first. I'll be first. The sibling that's here, di ba? I am most proud. Kuya, I am
Malamang.
most proud of the way you raise your kids. It's really something that I am constantly learning from. And I like how you're building your relationship with your wife very consciously and effortfully, which also inspires me to build my relationship with my husband. Yee.
Wow,
Ikaw
grabe
naman.
ah. Grabe naman. I didn't expect that answer at all, no? But thank you, no? Thank you. What I'm most proud of Casey, actually, Casey's really come a long way as a. Actually, growing up, I didn't think Casey would be into all of these things, no? I thought she'd be an artista. You know, that's what ano. Ganun yung character niya. No, but I'm so proud of what she's accomplished at a very young age with what she does in terms of consulting. You know, not everybody gets the opportunity to create culture as a job. And also, I'm also proud of how she also treats her kids, and how her eldest is actually, they call themselves the best friend cousins, no, with my youngest, and they're very really close, no, they're really really close, and I like what I'm also proud about Casey. She's not afraid to speak her mind. That she's very honest in that sense, no? Uy, kalain dun sa sa team natin. But that she's really honest and open as an individual. That's the character that she is. And yeah, that's how I guess that's what I'm actually dami pa pero baka maubos yung time. So, Trish, ikaw naman. Your turn.
Okay. What I'm most proud of Kuya is that I'm I believe ako sa faith niya and how he serves the Lord. He seems like he says yes to everything, and even when he has a lot of challenges in his life, I don't see him waver. So it's inspiring. Go Kuya.
Thanks, Trish. I'm so touched. We don't talk this way. Norm.
This is so not us. Okay,
This is
so
not us. This is really not us.
as you can
Uh,
tell,
yeah, I'm so proud of my sister because, man, it takes a special person to grow up with me and not break. There, I said it right. Uh, Seriously, but that was somewhat no, no, that was somewhat serious. I would say I'm most proud of her for, in the same way, for being steadfast also in terms of her desire to be a mom, and how tough that was for her, and yet she just kept at it, with her husband Christian, and they were blessed almost 2 years ago.
yep.
I
Yeah,
don't
that
want to
was the
say
key.
anymore because
Iyak na
she
yan.
might get
Yeah,
emotional.
yeah.
She might get emotional. But yeah, I would say that, it's it's a difficult situation, and I'm sure for some that are listening who have gone through the same process, they understand what that means.
Yeah, that was a quite a feat, no, Trisha?
Yeah.
Took a long time to
14 years. 14 years.
14 years to get Ellie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we invite our the people watching out there to ask us questions, anything about anything you want to know about us as the way we grew up as siblings, our relationship, how it grew. So chime in with the comments box. And we'll be here to honestly answer your questions the best we can. Okay, but in the meantime, I think we have a second question coming up. Dun, dun. What is the weirdest habit your sibling has? Okay naman mag-start. Trisha,
Nako, ano nga ba? Wait, let me think.
weirdest.
Well, not really weird, but like growing up, he'd always make us massage his legs. Like I have to walk on his legs, on his back, ganyan. As in, even until now, his kids have to do it for him. So palagi, I don't know kung ngawit yung muscles niya palagi. Basta that was like, our chore to do for him all the time.
Wow, swerte talaga mga kuya no?
Guy,
Ako yan.
you do that to JR also, Casey? Is that,
No, with my parents.
weirdest habit. I wouldn't say it's a weird habit. So Trisha, when she introduced herself, what she didn't say was that she is a partner in Sisu, and Sisu has many natural products, right? And she's kind of she lives true to their brand. Others might not find it weird, but I always make fun of her for doing it, right? And in terms of if she has a headache, I'll say, why don't you spray magnesium on your head? Or or if she's not feeling well, why don't you drink cocoa nectar? Because everything there's a solution that's coming from her store.
Yeah,
So I'm not
yeah.
quite sure. I'm not quite sure if she's just promoting the store or she actually really believes in all this stuff.
Yeah, well,
Probably believes in it, right, Trish?
Yes, of course.
Selling something you don't believe in.
You, Casey, what's JR's weirdest habit?
Kuya's weirdest habit. I remember kasi before when we were young, we would share a room, the five of us. And then, pag tabi-tabi kami matulog, he needs to rub someone's nails to sleep. So whoever he's beside, he has to rub the nails like this. Tapos he'll fall asleep.
wow, grabe dito
Naalala mo ba yun? Naalala mo pa
Oh.
ba yun?
Yup.
Put na yung nails ni Marian. Put na yung nails ni Marian.
Tanong mo sa kanya, ask her.
Hanggang ngayon ba?
Yeah, sometimes it still happens, Can't deny it. We have to be honest here, right? So anyway.
JR,
So it's my turn. Oh,
JR,
yeah, Bobbit.
before you answer, I can't look at you right now. I'm embarrassed.
Ay, nako. Anyway,
All right, go.
okay lang yun. But, since nauna ka, actually, it's not a habit, but I don't know if she can still do it, no? When she was younger, she could, it's a skill. I say it's a skill. She can actually bend her fingers in a weird way. Parang, yan! Yan. That's the one. That's the one. Yan. No, there. Bobbit, kaya mo pa tingnan si Casey?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Yours was something else. For those of you that don't know, JR and I are actually high school batchmates.
Yep.
And I didn't know this. and I've known him for so long.
Oh, there's one more last na. One habit I remember in high school naman. Di ba he used to have this poofy afro-ish hair? He would keep
Uy, teka,
pencils.
one weirdest thing.
Last na yon. Sorry, ako host eh. Pwede ko na sabihin. Just kidding.
Uy, useful
Anyway,
yan pag test, ha?
we'd like to say hi to all the rest of the BCBP Alabang chapter watching us tonight. Everybody also in the community, thank you for supporting the Mission Go Live Be Honest series. So enough about introductory questions. I think let's get into the meat of our discussion tonight. So we have our first question. Do you filter or no holds bar when it comes to sharing views on opinions with each other? This is not just about a separate I think the question is in relation to opinion about the sibling, right?
Opinion about the sibling? So like opinion about you? About
yeah,
you?
like something I do, something I don't do, maybe.
Okay,
Kasi
okay.
it's towards us eh.
Yeah.
So it's
Kuya,
not like
answer this first.
okay, go.
Kuya, go, because I want to see if you're telling the truth. If you filter. Good.
Grabe laglagan dito.
I generally don't have a filter when it comes to my sibling. I'll leave it at that. Because beyond that, I'll just defend myself and say it's for the good in terms of improvement, moving forward, right? Enough said. Trish, what do you think?
Yeah, that's true. I just want to see if you're going to tell the truth. Yeah. Well, I guess I just do I filter myself? I'm not sure, but with Kuya, I don't really naman, I tell him when I'm annoyed at him or what, so I don't really filter myself actually. And yeah.
Okay. So,
Kuya.
you want
Yeah.
ako naman mauna. Well, with
Yep.
Casey actually there's really no filter, but we have to schedule it. And if we have a habit of, there's hindi siya surprise. Kumbaga, hey, Case, are you free later? I want to talk to you about something. So, ganun siya. I mean, it's not na when we're, Case, ginto ko pala. No, we schedule it so that my thinking there is that the person who's going to receive knows that we're going to talk about something. So it's not a surprise, So, yun. Diba, Case?
Yeah, with Kuya ganon. Kailangan may meeting, may schedule sa calendar.
Wow.
Tapos kakabahan ka na lang kasi may ginawa ba akong mali? No, but anyway, for Kuya, I don't filter my opinions. Maybe more like Bobbit, I don't really filter my opinions. But I think about how I'm gonna say it before I say it. I think it's part of me is also, parang syempre, you want to, yun nga, like what you said, Bobbit, kanina, diba? You wanna give feedback or opinions that will help others. And so, I'm like that. I blurt it out, but I think first. So sometimes, like when I'm quiet na, parang I'm trying to fix the message in my head and then I say it. But yun, hindi ko siya papalagpasin without sharing that thought.
No, pero pag alone yan si Casey, nagka-practice yan. Nagka-practice yan, I'm sure. Kung paano sasabihin, paano, pinapractice yan.
I was gonna add, when Trisha and I were invited to do this, we both responded the same way to say that, are you sure you want us on here? Because we're not your conventional siblings. So even as it relates to this question, like the way I am, generally, I've let my sisters kind of just grow up. I was never the protective brother. They live their life, and generally I'm like that with my kids also, right? Unless it's immoral, and given who Trisha is, I never had to talk about anything that was immoral regarding how she conducted, conducted herself. So when it comes to being open, parang, Trisha, as far as I remember, Trisha, parang few and far between in terms of like giving you feedback or opinion. Parang
No,
it's
not
not
no,
like that.
no,
Yeah, our relationship isn't like that. It's kind of
no.
let her unfold her own life, right? And then if she needs support at certain times, where I think she needs a word, where that also isn't that frequent, and then I'll say something, and I'll say it as straight as possible, right? Is that right,
Right.
Trish? That's right, right? Yeah, you
Yeah,
agree?
I think
Okay.
so.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a question from the chat. I mean, from the comments. Any examples of sibling rivalry
From Toby.
between
Mm.
us?
Uh,
Mm.
It's kind of a tricky question.
uh,
well,
Um,
yeah, Trisha has a good story about this.
what?
which one now?
Which one? Which one? Which one
But
though, Rob?
we don't really have sibling rivalry.
No,
It's just
not
bullying
really.
me. Just you
Maybe
bullying
when
me.
we were
There's
younger.
no rivalry.
Yeah, that's true. Like to have a rival, it's usually a balance in power. In this case, there
Yeah.
was just no balance.
Yeah.
I
Well,
That's
guess
why.
ako din. Parang, yeah, go ahead, Bobbit.
Parang I know that
No,
story.
go, Casey. Go, Casey.
go ahead.
No, parang kami, we don't also have rivalry, but it's more of um, yung taking advantage kasi kuya. Yung ganon. Yung parang um, like when we were younger, simple things like utos na utos, lahat na lang utos, kakaakit mo lang, pagbaba mo, may isa na namang papakuha, galing ka na sa kwarto niya, parang, ano ba, pwede isang beses na lang, mga ganon. Or, wala akong maisip masyado. Mabait kasi yun si kuya sa akin.
Okay, so qualifying, di ba? Let's qualify the answers here, okay? So this is between Casey and I, di ba? Actually, I don't think we have a sibling rivalry kami ni Casey kasi she's the youngest and actually we always took care of her. We always made sure that she was okay. I even remember at 10 years old I was helping in changing her diapers, no? So ganun yon. Ganun yung relationship namin ni Case, no? Rivalry, I don't think we really do have one. What else
It's
po ba?
mostly, I guess, it's mostly just different opinions.
Tsaka hindi naman ako lang yung nag-uutos eh, di ba? I mean, mag-uutos ako, tapos pag akit mo, uutos yung isa. Di ba? Ganun yun eh. It's not me, okay? It's not me nag-uutos, kakautos lang, uutusan ko siya ulit. Hindi. It's, utusan ko muna siya, pag akit niya, utusan siya ng isa, kasi siya nga yung youngest eh, di ba? So, ganun yun. So, just
Trish,
clarifying that part.
Huh? What?
You didn't answer the question.
Oh yeah,
Well,
Trish.
for me
Trish.
kasi, we didn't have sibling rivalry because nga, we had our own thing going on. Like, we shared our room for 10 years, but then I can't remember us fighting or getting annoyed. I mean, fighting again. Because I guess we're 3 years apart and we like the different things, diba? You had your own toys, I had my own toys, your own friends, and my own friends. So even as teenagers, he did his own thing, I did my own thing. So there's not
Mahirap,
conflict, diba?
mahirap kung same toys kayo ni Bobbit.
Oo, diba? Hindi
Yeah,
na
mahirap
tayo
yun.
kahit yung robot niya. So, wala.
All right. We'll jump into the next question. How does it impact your conversations about taking care of your parents now that you are adults?
Yeah, I can start.
Yeah. Okay, go, Bobbit.
Actually, I'd say generally speaking, we're very blessed. My parents are a little over a certain age, 40, right? 40, or they look like it. I know they're watching. Um, they're both very. I mean, they're both very healthy. They're both very independent. Uh, so at this stage, parang as a concern in terms of future planning, like there's parang we haven't talked about it yet because everything is normal. What we do talk about is the fact that my parents have been locked up together for just like all of us, right, during the pandemic and haven't really been able to go out. So you put a couple who's been married for how long?
How old
For
are you?
almost 48 years together, and then lock them up in a house for over a year where they can't go out. So it's interesting to watch and funny at the same
Yeah.
time. So I get the messages around, Kuya, can you talk to mom? She wants to go out, or like she should stay home because one of our sisters already left. She used to live with them, and she left to study abroad a couple of months ago. So there's no one watching at this stage. So that's what we talk about.
So it's just the two of them now at home
Yes.
Yes,
with
and
help.
since it's lockdown, so what we were planning to do was send my kids there to take turns to be the police. At least on weekends, right? But that hasn't pushed through because of what's going on right now.
Yeah,
What do you
right.
Kuya,
think?
ikaw naman.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
go
that's,
JR.
that's the same story I was gonna tell them. When I had to text you, please help me with mom and dad, because they might not listen to Cheska and I, and yun. So I think now they're scared to go out. So thankfully they're at home and safe.
Well, I guess with us, no, we're starting to get there. I mean, coordinating about. I remember, my mom kasi had her. She had a tumor in her brain. That's actually how it really started, us being involved with one another. It was when my mom had a tumor in her brain more than 10 years ago, and we had to do our thing, in on her, checking in on our dad. And almost at the same time, my dad also had his prostate at the same time, no? So, or almost the same time. So that's when it actually started. The five of us would really just coordinate with one another on who could take turns here and there. Especially by that time, I wasn't living with them anymore. When I got married, I moved out. And then right now, because of the COVID situation, we have two siblings who stay there. Their families are there, and they are taking care of most of the day-to-day activities. But we are able to coordinate naman through Viber about what's needed, who can help where. Or at least the coordination is there, right, Case?
Yeah, 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 yeah. As far as in terms of the way we talk about our parents now, especially with this COVID situation, it's like it in the beginning it was really, I'd say it's just really difficult to convince them nga to stay in, di ba? Kasi parang it's so odd for them. I mean, if it's odd for us, what more for them? They're more, my parents are about your parents' age also, Bobbit and Trisha. So most of their life they've been used to the freedom of just going wherever, whenever, right? And then so um we of course we talk about their health, and our concerns whenever they attempt to go out. And yun nga, I don't think naman it's a burden, really, for my siblings who are there, but they're the first responders, diba? So if
Yeah, yeah.
anything happens, especially during this time, which is very difficult, um, so sila yung talagang legwork and all, no?
Sila yung
But
frontliner, di ba?
sila yung frontliner, sila yung mga
Yeah.
frontliner. So, oh, look at the Bobby saying,
Tito Bobby is commenting, oh.
super strict ang mga anak. Yeah, pero totoo, Tito Bobby. I mean, kami din na pagsasabihan na rin kami sometimes ng parents namin. Grabe naman, ang strict nyo naman, ganyan, no? So, pero yun, parang we of course, we try to encourage each other and support each other, because sometimes it can get really challenging in terms of, convincing people older than you to follow you and to do what you tell them to. So there you have it. I think,
Casey had a follow-up question around
yeah,
that.
go.
So just want to validate. Do you think it's a generational thing? And the reason I ask that is, like I believe I brought it up once in terms of, okay, so what's the plan if something happens, right? And I remember, I don't remember the words, but the discussion was kind of shut down very, very quickly. Parang, uh, so my question is, do you think in terms of our parents' generation that they don't want to talk about that? In terms of that, parang that stage of getting sick, how are they going? Who's going to take care of them? It's almost like it's bad luck, right? To talk about something that hasn't happened that's bad. Because for me, like my kids now, I'm training them already. I'm telling them like who's gonna change my diaper, when I get older, and I'm perfectly
Yeah.
fine with it. Right?
Well,
Well,
yeah, well, good.
go, kuya.
What? Well, ako, I'll probably answer that since I think it may be. I'll answer that as a maybe. It might be a generational thing, but I think it comes from it stems from the fact that yeah, they're so used to, no one taught them to go through life. They belong to that generation that, they were, like I remember my dad was he was high school and he was alone here in Manila. He was with a relative, I think, and my mom's the same thing for college. Parang they were taught to fend for themselves growing up. No one really there to talk to. Wala mang phone lines and stuff like that. So they figured things out for themselves. And now that maybe they get tired of being told what to do because all their life they weren't told to do whatever, diba? So I think I'd answer it that way. It's not. I don't think it's not naman how not to talk about it, how to take care. I'm sure they want to talk about it, but I guess they're also in the time frame na kaya ko pa naman to eh. Alam mo yung ganon, or that's the impression, or let me do it my way, di ba? Something like that. What do you think, Trish?
Yeah, I always convince my mom to do online banking or like put all her bills in her credit card, so just she doesn't have to make so many checks. And especially during the pandemic, diba? You'd see her sitting down, spending so much time doing it. Took her so long to finally convince her to do it, and finally she did it last year, and she listened to me with my dad's help. So at least it's more convenient for her, diba? But I think it's also she loves doing it, diba? She loves going out and doing her errands, keeps her busy. In our generation, kasi we want the convenience, diba? Sila, they like the effort of going to the supermarket. Tayo, I think we value the time of of doing something else.
Yeah, and I think the reality of human interaction in their time, that's their normal. I mean, imagine having to spend more than 6 decades of your life that you're always interacting with different kinds of people, and then suddenly this thing happens. You're locked in your own home, with the challenges of using technology and all of that, diba? So at their age, parang they try, but sometimes it's paulit-ulit, and sometimes nga my dad also reminds us na minsan you have to be patient with me kasi kahit sinusulat ko na yan and all of that, I still forget. So you have to keep on reminding me how ganon, no? But in relation to yun nga, parang having to talk to them about, like what you said, Bobbit, no, parang are they scared but to talk about the getting sick or the that I for me, well, I can speak for my parents. I don't think they're, because our parents are very um spiritual also, and they have strong faith, no? So that's something they, in a way, I think they want to continue, they want to, I guess, right now, choose the good things in life with the rest of the time that they have here. And para sigurado, 'di ba, they'll reunite with the Lord. So, para bang I think what they have difficulty discussing with us, their children, and kami rin, kaming magkakapatid, not just who's gonna take care, pero what's gonna happen after, like all these estate, whatever, the things they own, their assets and everything, like what's gonna happen to that? What are they gonna do about it and stuff like that? Who's gonna own the house? Who's gonna, stuff like that. Parang which are normally, it ends up na it ends up
Tanong
na
ba yun?
after the fact na siya pinag-uusapan, wala na sila to decide, di ba? So, I don't know, parang it's a bit of a tricky discussion, di ba, to talk to them about it, na parang, papasok mo ba sa akin yung bahay mo, mom? Or dad, di ba? Parang
Funny,
weird.
yeah, funny you mentioned that case. Actually, when it comes to that planning for the future, that's something I'd want to emulate in terms of my parents. I mean, they've been planning for themselves, for us, for I don't know, what seems to me like a long time, right? So when it comes to when that time comes, they've been very well prepared. What surprised me though, when we talk about illness or getting sick, my dad's been, like all of us here, right? But he's been with BCBP a long time, going on his faith journey, uh, and I look to him and look up to him, from a faith standpoint, right? And in terms of what we're taught, right? The reward is not here. The reward is in the afterlife. And given his years of service, given his years of just reading, being academic in terms of growing himself, putting himself in situations where he'll grow, or the content that he reads, or the content that he teaches. A couple of years ago, he had a scare, right, from a health standpoint. So I would accompany him to go to the doctor. And it was surprising to me, after this long journey in faith, that I could see a level of fear.
Mm,
I was like, so parang, so I was very surprised, honestly, right? Here's a guy that, I'd say, for all intents and purposes, 99.9% of the time, is a good guy. My mom might argue otherwise on certain, but all in all, and then he still gets well, he looked a little scared. Well, he looked a little scared. So I'm just hoping that, because I'd like to think for myself that if I was in that situation, part of it is, I have faith, so laban, di ba? Whatever. Parang let's see how it unfolds, and what happens. Uh, because this isn't the goal. But, um, just something I observed.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true. We all have our own, our own views naman when it comes to, I don't know, maybe it's human nature to be afraid of
Yep.
what you're gonna go through. I think more of that than the ending, right?
Yep.
So I guess, how does this all impact our kids kaya? I mean, like, okay, let's see. How do you raise your children in terms of having sibling harmony
Ah,
instead of rivalry? Any parenting tips? Siguro, to help our viewers, let's give context on how older children are right
yep.
now. So maybe, Kuya, you
Yeah.
want to start?
Yeah, sige. Yeah, I have two, like I mentioned earlier, two kids, no. Bobby's the older one. He's 13, and Rory is 10. So, yeah, they're 3 years apart. I'll go straight na to answer this question. Actually, the best thing that you can teach your kids at an early age is how to communicate, how to be actually honest to one another about certain things, no. And it's amazing if you are able to build that kind of relationship from a very young age. And it's actually funny if you hear them talk today, like this afternoon. It was really funny because they were in school, and this is how they talk, during break ng school, no. Roy, how long is the 100-year war? Roy goes, huh? Kuya, I'm only in grade 4. I haven't even taken that up in history. Rory, the 100-year war. It's in the title. Then Roy goes, oh, 100? Haha, no, it's 116. Haha, got you. No, I got you. That's what Roy said because you answered your question. So like ganon me. I mean, that's how amazing that without if you're able to teach them how to be honest with one another at an early age and how to help each other. Yung mga ganyang conversations very natural, and they'll always be like, I guess really looking after each other. Jokingly, when Rory asked one question before, sabi niya, Mom, what age can I have a boyfriend? Then Bobby goes, "Where's that guy? Where's that guy? Is there someone going after you now? Huh? Huh?" Ganon. So it's something like that. So it's amazing lang, ano. But that's a result of, I guess, us always teaching them that it's a safe space in the house to just express yourself, to talk, and to value, listen to one another. Yeah. So those are the little things that I can probably share with you guys on how we raised our kids, and how entertaining they are because of it. Yeah. So how
Bobbit?
about you, Bobbit? Yeah. So you have 3 kids,
Man,
right?
yeah. So I have I said 13 earlier. Lucas is actually 16. 15 turning 16. My wife is here going 15, 15. So yes, 15 turning 16, 19, and 23. Um, I'm I'm the worst person to ask this because in the same way, like I'm the same. I'm the same person when it comes to my siblings, and I'm the same person when it comes to my kids in terms of parang generally letting them live their life and learn from their mistakes. Uh, they've spent so much time together, and we've moved. We've lived in the States, lived here, lived in different cities. Um, so I think part of that upbringing for them is no, they've always because when you're transplanted from one location to another as a family, that in of by itself is a lesson, right? In terms of togetherness, because you leave your friends who you're typically very attached to, then you go to another location, especially for them who are generally closer in age. So it's not something that I would say I thought. Maybe my wife, maybe Tan did, but just observing them, what I observe is they might fight like cats and dogs, but when one person leaves, let's say just recently, when one person leaves and sleeps over in their lolo and lola's house, the others look for them. Parang they notice a difference when the other one is, when at least one is gone, and they miss them. So it's not something I thought. I think it's situational. I think it's Stan, but it's definitely not for me. I know, live your life, learn from your mistakes. I'll be here if you want to talk, if you want advice. But I won't sugarcoat anything generally. So that's me. Again, I'm different. Right. AC, what do you think?
So my kids, I have two. My eldest is 8, and my youngest is 5. And it's actually this age where they start to develop their own interests, and so they're starting to discover they're very different, not just because of gender, but just the way they are as people, as individuals. And at the same time, um, the younger one is always looking up to what his ate is learning and doing, and very curious. So she's at this point where she doesn't like na sharing information much, like especially when it comes to her classmates, to her friends. May peers na yan, may barkada na yan, kahit na online schooling. But they're the only kids hanging out with each other now, right? Because of the lockdown. So the rivalries, or I guess the bickering, is often, but I feel that the way we handle it kasi is we let them, and then we see lang how they figure things out. If they figure it out together, do they end up fighting, do they end up, what happens. And then once we just affirm them if they make a good decision. If they, like, let's say, if they end up working as a team, we affirm that. If they end up fighting and like hitting each other, we'll call their attention and we'll talk about it. Yung mga ganon. But I guess at this age, kasi we just let them. Maybe like you, Bobbit, no? Parang we just let them. Especially, there's very limited environment that they get to go around, and they're only really seeing us as examples. And ako, that's what I'm really very worried about, how they're gonna deal with failure, how are they gonna deal with difficulties, right? Because what they see now is just what's at home. So but that's what we do with the rivalries and everything. I mean, I expect it to happen. And then we
I
just
wanted to
yeah.
another case, something you said about fighting and physical fighting. So I wanna take back what I said for one situation. So see Matt, who's 19, and Lucas is 15, turning 16. Matt was always a head taller than his little brother. Okay, but of course, usual story. The youngest drives the older one crazy, right? I've heard many stories like that. So all throughout as they were growing up, Lucas would just make his brother angry on occasion, and you would see Matt like ball up his fist. And that's one place I would get involved, and I go, Matt, not yet. It's not a fair fight. I go, when you're the same size, then you can have at it and just like try to kill each other. But right now, you will kill him. Okay, you'll kill him. And what I'm excited about is they're at an age, they're getting to be the same size. So on a certain day, maybe the next couple of years, I'm just gonna let them like, yep, go get it out.
Kulit.
So Trish, are you ready now?
I'm
Ellie's
learning
how
from you
old?
guys.
Yeah,
Ellie's
how
only
old's
2
Ellie?
years old,
2
and
years
she's
old.
by
So yeah.
herself. So yeah, I'll just take your advice and your word for
For now.
for now.
Yeah.
I
So
just
we encourage our viewers out there, if you guys still have any questions for us while we're still here, before we go to our final thoughts. Maybe you guys have any more issues with your siblings, or like
Issues
things you want to
talaga?
learn.
Mga questions
Issues
lang.
talaga, things you want to learn about how we handle different situations. Just chime in the comments. We're just here. All right. Our last question. Oh, what is
Meron
this
okay,
ano.
shoot.
question? I understand our parents are not open to talking about the future, but as siblings, do you talk about it amongst each other? What you'll do if and when something happens to them?
Mm.
To the details, siguro, no?
Well, I can go first.
Yes.
Actually, my mom is very open. Like she talks to me about it already. I don't know about with Kuya, but with Kuya pala, pag ganun. But she talks to me about it, and she makes bilin actually. And when she does that, it freaks me out. But yeah. So but we haven't talked about it as siblings yet. Not yet.
Mm.
What about you, Kuya? Do we talk
Well,
about it?
tayo, I've had, to be honest, I haven't talked to you about it at all. I don't think we have. But I've heard I've heard dad already talk about that if he gets sick, as in sick na terminally ill, don't even try to, parang extend my life. Parang I'll just try to live the rest of my days. He said that a lot. I recall that. So if he gets a bout with a debilitating disease, I guess, well, that's his wish. With mom, she hasn't really talked to me about it. But I guess, yeah, we have to start looking at that reality. I think that's an eye opener right here, right now, that we have to start thinking of what to do, and what roles do we play, diba? Who does what? So bagay, I mean, we're five, diba? So at least the division of labor would be, spread out, diba? Whatever needs to
Hopefully.
happen. Yeah. Diba? So ganun,
Hopefully.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Do you
Yeah.
know? Do you remember the name of that priest? Like during wakes, he would sell his book
Oh,
and he
Father
would
Larry
talk.
Tan. Father Larry Tan. Yeah,
Larry
we have
Tan, and he
that.
had that
We actually have, yeah.
in terms
Yeah,
of planning. So
right.
I remember going to a wake where that was being sold. So I talked to my dad about it, and then his response was, "Parang ginawa ko na yan." So ever since then, I'm like, "All right, he's prepared. He's got a plan." So yeah, we haven't talked about it as siblings.
Yeah.
Outside of joking around, right? Like in my sister's house, the den, that's where my parents are gonna live one day, kind of thing. But yeah, nothing, not seriously. Maybe after this, they're listening. Maybe we will, or maybe not. Not, at least not yet.
Yeah, I guess puro padaplis lang eh. Like, but a lot of it was triggered by this pandemic talaga. Like, at least we got to start talking about what we're concerned about with our parents, and what are we gonna do if this happens, I think that we talk about, but yun nga, yung to the next step thing, parang we also don't talk about those things. So, here we have a community. How did the BCBP community help transform your relationship with your sibling and family?
Ah. Okay.
Community. This
Community.
is
Case, mauna ka kasi nauna ka sumali.
Yeah, why don't you?
sa kanila, sa'yo.
Oh, sa akin, nauna ka sa akin, 'di ba?
Let's do it
Sige.
all. Let's go youngest to oldest.
Okay,
Oh, si
fine.
Casey nga yan.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah, well, first of all, before joining the BCBP community, all us five siblings, we were part of the Days with the Lord community, and we all got to serve there. At one point, we got to serve all together, and that was, I think, the start of our relationship as siblings. Um, grow spiritually, and it helped get us closer to each other. And then, as now that we're adults and learning about the BCBP community, I found it parang it was instant for me to share it with my siblings. I guess my hope is that we get to be all together again here, the five of us in the community, because when there's something good that happens in my life, of course, I want them to also be part of it. And for me, BCBP has really helped me continuously improve myself. And um, I'm holding up the tears, guys. Yeah, di pwede. This is
Be honest, be honest.
no, but yeah, that's why I guess the first person with my siblings na medyo hindi kailangan kasi ng pilit was kuya. So, I invited him after the year after we joined the BCBP. And that has not just, made us closer together, but also our kids, they have their own community with each other. And that's fun to see. Um, there. Trish,
Okay.
girls muna, girls.
Um, well, I think for us, the turning point was we joined BCBP as kids. Like, well, I was only, I think, 12 or 13. Well, during that time, college, nothing much changed, But I think the turning point was when we both moved to the States, and because Kuya's daughter had a liver transplant, so he had to work there, and then I studied there for a few years. And I lived with my aunt, and he had his own apartment with Tan and Mika. And one day he would bug me and say, "Ano, Trisha, sleep over. Come on, sleep over here in the weekend." For me, that was shocking. I mean, honestly, parang, wow, he wants me to spend time with him. Parang, naging kuya na si kuya, finally. Hallelujah. Kasi growing up, he really had his own life and he didn't really, interact much with us girls. So for him wanting me to spend time with him was, a blessing for me. And then, after that, parang our relationship got closer. And especially now when I joined the BCBP in 2016, we have something more in common. And we see each other more often now. And so yun. There. And I see how much he serves, and it's inspiring to me and to my husband Christian. JR, who's older?
Yeah, I'm next. Yeah, I'm next because Bobbit's older than I am. So yeah. Anyway, yeah, I think yeah, BCBP definitely played a big role. I could say Casey and I are even closer today. And I think the advantage of belonging to the same community is that there's less need for any explanation. I mean, I think the faith journey is the same, the principles are the same, and when you want to validate something uh, among your siblings, I usually go to Casey first. Now, no, now that we're with BCBP, and it's not because of the relationship in that sense na I feel closer to her. No, I think it's because simply lang she knows what I'm going through from a faith standpoint. And that is a big deal for us. So that's why I joined Casey also in hoping that our siblings would get to at least try it out and see. And when you grow through life and certain activities or certain things happen when at certain time, and right now BCBP, my personal growth in terms of faith and how I'd want to bring up my kids, how I'd spend my life with my wife, has really put that seal of do everything that you can so that you could bring them with you to heaven. And if you put that in that perspective, um, it's nice to also invite those in your family to have that same level. I'm not saying that no, their level is different from ours. It's just that it's just the understanding. I think it's just the understanding, that same wavelength, and how it's applied in your personal life. Right, Bobbit?
That's right. My turn, right?
Yeah.
I I can't, like, we're together every Sunday, and we tell stories, and there's some stories that Trisha has told about growing up to my kids, and what I used to do to her. So I've never actually physically hurt my sister. Maybe one time when I shot her with an air gun, but outside of that, right? Outside of that, psychologically, like, no, now I realize, just reflecting around how 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 damaging that could be to a little girl, in terms of, you should have a drink with her, and allow and let her tell you the stories. Like, I'm just beside myself, going, man, you were not nice. You were just, you were, so because of that, right? Because of that, go what BCBP did. When we joined, we actually joined the family retreat. Just myself, Trisha, my dad, and my mom. And I would say maybe not immediately, but it was through that whether it's myself and Trisha, or my mom with my sister, me with my dad, like, healing of relationships started. Uh, at least the spark to have that happen. And then, to Trisha's point, it was, it took years, but it got to a point where we were all good, and that's up to today, where now, instead of me laughing at her, like, we're laughing at her together. Right?
Never. Yeah, you can't call me pangit anymore because I look like daddy. So you're saying daddy is pangit. Kind of.
Man, I felt that there was this one retreat that we go through in BCBP. Actually, I went through it in another community, but similar retreat. And there's one evening where it's about repentance and forgiveness. And I was in the States. I felt so bad just reflecting on whatever that I called them long distance just to say sorry. Yeah, but that's all in the past, right? It's all in the past. Now I'm like super loving towards my sister and sisters.
Okay, we'll do a fast round of questions before we go to our end, and it will flash, and then we have to answer quick. Okay, we'll just do in order na lang, me, Trisha, Kuya, and then Bobbit to
All
answer
right.
the question. Go. What is one personality trait that your sibling has that you wished you had? Personality trait. Patient. Trisha.
He's funny and
Kuya.
it's funny.
Yeah. Yeah. She's able to laugh at herself a lot.
Patience also.
Okay. Next question. What's the most annoying thing your sibling has done, Bobby? Annoying.
I have
Ah,
many.
annoying.
I can go first.
Okay,
Okay,
go.
go, Trisha.
He finds a way to steal our phones and puts a stupid Facebook status that is so embarrassing, and people sometimes think that I wrote it. Nakakahiya.
I find it funny. I don't know what's wrong, and so do others.
Annoying. Ah, annoying thing. I
Mabait
don't
yata si
know.
JR eh, mabait.
Di, meron yan. Baka na-mental block lang. Annoying. Alam ko na. Yung parang hilig yan minsan pag nagkukwento, tapos ang tagal na masyado ng kwento. Tapos. Tapos parang ikaw, nawawala yung train of thought mo. Parang, wait lang. Yun, I guess that.
Yeah. Ako, for Casey, nothing.
Wow.
Wala. I'm
Be
not
honest
annoyed.
na.
Oh, I'm not annoyed with you at all. At
Wow.
all. I can't
No.
remember me being annoyed at you at all. Oh, wag ka nang umiyak. Bobbit, ikaw na.
Actually, similar. Parang really nothing outside of hindi siya napipikon. So, nakakainis hindi napipikon, di ba?
Kasi siya pikon. Pikon.
Okay, our last fast question. Complete this statement. My brother or sister is.
What?
Fast thought, ha? My brother is kind.
My brother,
Yes.
my sister is, don't tell my other sisters, my favorite.
Is...
Yeah. I'll go next. In the same Casey is my favorite youngest sister. Thanks for giving me the idea, Bobbit.
Grisha.
My brother is
Bully.
my brother is
She's torn between being honest and being nice. Okay, that's why she's having
Go Casey.
I said na.
You did na?
Oh.
Yeah.
Sige nga.
Wait, I did. Okay, our final thoughts before we end. With this current pandemic situation, what is your message to all the siblings out there?
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay.
By age ulit.
Okay.
By age, let's do it by
Eldest naman.
age.
Sige, sige, youngest. My message to the siblings out there. Um, First of all, be grateful that you have a sibling that is still here with you. Precisely, the celebration is to honor siblings because nga the person recognizes the early loss of a sibling. So that's first. And second, um, this whole pandemic is teaching us that life is short, and while we have the time to stay in our own homes, whether you live with your sibling or not, spend the time to get to know them. And if you can make telebabad with your friends, they're your siblings can be your first friends too. That's it.
All right. Similar to Casey, my message for the siblings out there: you are very blessed to have a sibling. Um, Maybe after this go live show, pick up your phone, say text your siblings, say hi, kamusta. Maybe they might find it weird, but maybe it's a start of a spark to get to know them better, or for healing of relationships. I don't know what, but yeah, I mean, time is precious, especially now in the pandemic. So get to know your siblings and um, exert more effort to get closer to them.
Yeah. But lang hindi bawal yung copy paste, no. No, but
Yeah.
no, but yeah, to the siblings out there, yeah, you know, cherish your siblings because they are actually your first friends, you know. Especially if you're the youngest, no. But if like you're the eldest, di ba? You also have to look at in a way that you have to get, you're you've got each other's backs in and that's how God made it to be, 'di ba? And share time, valuable time, not only not only physical time, but especially those who've not been together for a while. I think it's about time to get in touch again and to really just check on each other. Because it's a lot of if there are a lot of things that can be probably healed if there's pain, and if there's happiness naman, then there's time to create more memories and more joy, so that you can tell your kids how lucky you are to have a sibling like this and like that, diba? So treasure that, because we don't know with this thing that's going on. We don't know who gets hit next. We don't know how close it will be, diba? But you have to realize you got each other. Yeah. Bobbit.
Cool. I'll just add and say, we're all members of BCBP here. Uh, all four of us that are talking to you, and what that means for me is that we believe that there is a thereafter, right? That there is through our faith life, and that's why I'm part of this community. That's why uh, I invited not that I invited Trisha. That's why my parents joined. That's why we joined. That's why Casey joined. That's why she invited her brother, and it's because of wanting to live with these same values and these same beliefs, where this is not the end all and be all. That there
Yeah.
is something after. Um, so in this time frame, apart from reaching out to your siblings, spending time, getting to know them, saying hi. For me, part of it also is, yeah, reflect on your beliefs, and if you want to enjoy your siblings some more, our belief is that there is something after. So apart from the time spent here, now I'm looking forward to Trisha and I meeting on the other side. Not too soon, right? Not too soon, but having that opportunity to do so.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, all of you, for being here in the show. Thank you to all the the people watching out there live and on replay. Until next episode, please do like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, BCBP Alabang Chapter. Bye!
Bye.
All right. Meron pang pahabol na question, guys.
Okay.
What about the traditional treatment parents practices for their children? Bunsong lalaki gets the house, panganay chooses. What's Tawanas? I guess the old, the old
Yeah.
tradition of passing it on to the next generation. I guess that yun nga. Yeah, what are your thoughts about that?
I can share.
Yes,
Are we still
Bobbit.
live? Are we still live? Oh, we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, like I said, my parents are planners. So in their case, they've actually made it very clear and have made those arrangements in terms of how everything is going to work. Right.
Yeah. Well,
So the way it's gonna work. I mean, we all know at this stage in terms of the structures of everything. Yeah.
I'll
We
answer
are.
it from I'll answer it from a standpoint that the future really depends on the values that you want to instill in your children. Because you can't dictate naman, like for example, how I would want our properties to be divided would be very different from how probably Casey would want. So if you put in that perspective, and it usually comes from your family of origin, how they treat it. That's why I guess it's very timely asking about the traditions. Okay, the question that you should ask yourself first: does that tradition still align with the values that you practice today? So that's an important question. Like for example, um, kami ni Marian, the way we teach our kids is that our we're here to get you through college. We're here to but we don't want you really to worry about us because our goal is for you guys to live your life. Okay, so that's how we want our kids to feel and how we want our kids to know. So it won't sa amin hindi yung tipong, oh, Rory, ikaw yung babae, so pagtanda namin, alagaan mo kami. No. It is our responsibility, kami ni Mar, we've already talked about, it's our responsibility to take care of our future as husband and wife because that's our future. So it really depends on the values that you wanna give your children. And also when you do that, you also have to look into the fact of what kind of life they would be having with that kind of instilling practices, diba? Or another thing is that might even cause, putting it in the context of the question, that might even cause more sibling rivalry. O bakit si ganito sa kanya yung bahay? Bakit si ganito? Bakit ako kailangan mag-alaga kay mommy? 'Di ba? So that's where the complication comes with, 'di ba? But traditionally, I can't I can't deny the fact that traditionally Filipino culture would have such a practice.
Yeah. And if they want to carry that on, I don't think
Yeah.
there's a right or wrong way to do things, the way you want to pass the tradition on or to keep the tradition alive with your how you want to carry your family or your children to carry their lives moving forward. But yeah, it's all about how do you want them to kasi each generation, the next generation will always be an improvement of the previous one, I think. So um how also sometimes, 'di ba, pag nangyari yung traditionally pinasa mo ganyan tapos nagbentahan. O paano 'yun, 'di ba? So ano din and ano mangyayari pa 'yon when the parents die pa, 'di ba? So parang ano din, I don't know, it's kanya-kanya. I think if it's how you want to carry it out to your kids, then I guess that's it. What are your thoughts on that, Trisha?
Trish. Oh,
Yeah, me.
Yeah, when that kind of Filipino tradition.
Well, I think we have to honor what our parents want.
Yeah.
Like, 'di ba? But there's also a law to protect the siblings supposed to be, diba? Like family law. I don't know really how it is,
Well,
but
depends on how you fix your estates. We can
oh
have
yeah.
another session on that. And I
I'm
can
not a
suggest on that one
expert,
as
so
well.
I don't really know. But for me, really, I want to just honor what our parents make bilin, diba?
I
That's
was gonna say, I think we should do it the traditional way where it's given to the eldest son. That's the way. No, in all seriousness, though, there's not a formula, but I think the formula starts with the values, to JR's
Right.
point, that start at home. And if that's the case, whether you start a family corp, whether you have a living will, whether you have a will, uh, somehow I believe it all works out when when all the kids' values are straight. So it's not, for some like JR, it's the we'll take care of ourselves, you take care of yourself. You also have examples of extended families making it work, right?
yeah.
For me personally, as I get older, I believe that a tribe makes a family, and a tribe is an extended family of grandparents, parents, siblings, cousins, that all support each other,
Right.
right? Uh, uh, More and more, that's what that's where I believe that. I mean, that's what I believe. And let's see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here in the Philippines, it's myself and Trisha, and my one sibling is in one country, the other sibling is another country. So that extended family needs to include friends also to a certain extent.
Yeah, I'll just clarifying statement ko. It's not that I don't want them to take care of me. It's just that you want to give them every opportunity that they could have at a good life for themselves. So that's why you set it up that way so that they don't have to worry. Our kids don't have to worry about us. But in the
Yeah.
process, when you do that correctly as well, you'll see that the care will go back because they know what you sacrifice for them to achieve what they're going through. But I don't want to ask it from them. Gets nyo? Parang,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You want it to come
you
from
know,
them.
yeah, kasi, 'di ba? I mean, it's as a parent, that's our job is to one, obviously, how we believe it, no, na we want to bring everyone with us to heaven, 'di ba? But aside from that, in this temporal world, you want them to experience the best life for them in their point of view, their perspective. Not even, oh, gusto ko maging doktor ka. No, hindi ganon eh. It's like you give them, okay, what do you want to be? What do you know? Okay, I'll try to see what I can do in my capacity to get you to those dreams. But you have to do your part too. 'Di ba? You can't leave it up to just me. It's something that you have to chase. It's something that you have to strive for. But I'm here to support you. So it's that kind of relationship that I'm talking about.
Yeah, that makes sense. And as I'm listening to you, what I was thinking about too is, my dad, right now he's semi-retired. So semi-retired, I mean, pretending to be retired, but actually he's still working. So what I tell him is, Dad, if you need company in your semi-retirement, I'm more than willing to accompany you. Just give me an allowance and take care of my family. Then we could be together. We could play golf every day, right? I could drive you to your meetings. I'm perfectly good with that. I'm sure I'd learn a lot from you.
Yes, thank you guys again for being in this show. Enjoyed all the sharing the cuentos, and hopefully our viewers were able to pick up something from us as well. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah, thank
you.
you, thank you.
Thanks
Bye.
everyone. Thanks for watching.